welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
A good Tuesday morning to you. Welcome to the EST Hangout live right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Thanks to everyone for tuning in live on our audio channels, which is iHeart, TuneIn, EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Thanks to those watching live on YouTube, and thanks to those listening to us wherever you get your podcast later in the day. Matt Iwanyk with you here once again, and on the show today. Glad these two gentlemen were able to find the time to jump on the show. Glad that they put their egos aside, their bruised egos aside, to find their time to come join the show. It is Dash. It's Ryan from Heavy Hockey, who lost to Team Edmonton Sports Talk in the Heavy Hockey Showdown. Ryan Lotsberg, Dash in the Park. Welcome, boys. How are you guys today? How's it going? How's it going with our fourth member of the show today?
He said you cheated.
Which is the heavy. I don't understand Eric right now. By the way, there's the fourth member of the show today. The Heavy Hockey Showdown Championship that belongs to Edmonton Sports Talk. How are you guys boys doing today?
I'm good, Brendan. Thanks for having me, Brendan. Brian, good to see you again.
Yes, great as always.
Yeah, pleasure.
Yeah.
I could pour my tea into the championship, but I don't want to go that far today.
Need a break after all the long drink you took out of there yesterday.
The full long drink that happened there yesterday was needs a little washing before I get a drink out of it again, which I'll do most days for the next 365 days.
Because you haven't gone far enough yet. You wouldn't take it that far, but yeah.
When you're champs, you enjoy it. You know, you think Alex Ovechkin had a great time with the cup. Wait till Edmonton Sports Talk has their year with the cup.
Which fountain are you going to bathe in?
There's the one at the Ledge. There's the one at City Hall. Brendan.
Brendan. You're lumping yourself in with these guys.
If we're going for dips.
Wow.
I believe he's the Edmonton Sports Talk intern here.
Not
the Heavy Hockey intern.
Yeah.
We never actually made the trade, Brendan, for Patrick. So no, he is 100%. He could drink from the cup. Only one member of EST is not allowed. And that's Tommy. And Eric's pushing himself into the category where I might have to ban him too, because he keeps pushing this. I cheated. Your Team Edmonton Sports Talk, Eric. Don't be sitting here saying, "Oh, Matt maybe cheated." Say Matt didn't cheat.
I mean, Brendan might sip out of the cup, or he might just hold on to his morals in life. You know, it's up to him ultimately.
What morals are there? When you win a championship, you enjoy the fruits of your labor.
When does the picture of you sleeping with the trophy going to come out? When do we see those pics online? Waking up after your hangover with it.
That will wait for the summer. We'll have a good time in the summer with the cup. I'll take it to Riverhawks games. I'll take it to Stingers games. I'll bring it to Elks games.
Pulls the blanket up a little closer to the cup's chin and let's have a good sleep, little showdowny.
What we'll do, Edmonton Sports Talk, is we'll work with the Oilers when they get to the Stanley Cup. And we'll go have a motivational speech for the boys saying, this is what it takes to win a championship. We've done it. We did it just down the hall at the other rink. You now do it at Rogers Place, and we're going to motivate them to go all the way. Because that's what Team Edmonton Sports Talk does. We win, and we inspire others to win.
Keep going. I mean, just let me know when you're done.
I'm good. I'm
Are you
good? Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I'll just keep my arm wrapped around the trophy over here.
You had a name for her yet, or?
Well, it's got a name on it.
Yeah.
I'm going to mispronounce it, so I don't want to.
Yeah.
Is it
Adam Zakuski Cup?
Zakuski?
Yeah.
Memorial Cup. And then we got the Heavy Hockey Showdown, so that's all it needs. Those are the two names. I don't need to rename it. It's got wonderful names already, but it just belongs to Edmonton Sports Talk. And people can't see, but I am rubbing its upper part
Caressing
right
it
now.
gently.
You're rubbing it inappropriately.
Yeah, well, it's not on camera, so I don't care. They can't see it. This is, So okay.
And this is why we raise funds for SACE. So that cup has a place to call.
Great weekend for SACE, or a great last couple of days. Just honestly putting the joking aside there. You guys did a great job with Heavy Hockey Showdown. You guys always do great work with that. So congratulations to you guys, first and foremost. Round of clicks for you guys for what you guys did there. Do we have a final tally Or is the money still being counted?
Yeah, it's still being counted. It's still coming in a little bit too,
Yeah.
which is great. I think the more that, with your guys' help, we get the word out there, and I think Global News was there to help us out and spreading that word. So we decided to kind of keep everything open for a little while and just kind of see how it would roll in after all this news. I think 35,000 plus last time I looked. I'm not sure.
That's more current information than what I have, but I could pull it up.
Yeah, sure, you do that, but and then honestly, that is the most important thing, and
100%.
Sace is the winner, as much as Matthew Iwanyk would like to take credit and gloat, but Ryan and I aren't. Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
I got 27,968, but I think it's actually a little higher than that.
Yeah, I'm not sure the silent auction and some other things are in there.
There's some other cash that.
Yeah, there's some other cash flowing in, so probably 30K ish.
Let's say close to 35 right now.
Okay.
And then there was a big donation yesterday, 85,000 to SACE.
Yes.
So the news last week where SACE is losing provincial funding, which I believe a minister with the government said it was a one-time pause or something, which hopefully is the case. It shouldn't be paused, but hopefully it is the one-year pause or whatever. But over 100K this weekend for SACE, which is that's big for them. So yeah, round of clicks. So thanks to everyone who donated to the Showdown, to everything that was involved with the Showdown, and then those other Canada
One Auto.
Canada One Auto. I'll give them the shout out here. They donated 85. So great weekend for SACE when it comes to just getting some additional funding once they lost all that funding. So
anyone else smell a sponsor for next year? Canada One Auto, if you're listening.
Absolutely.
Naming sponsor, the Canada One Auto Heavy Hockey Showdown, if you're listening. Just saying.
I like it. I like the sound of that.
I like it a lot. You know what? Hey, I'm glad you're done with all of your mouth breathing blowhorning or
I'm not
whatever.
done. I'm just
for now. Do you really think
I'm
he's
pausing it, and I'm just
All
not
right.
continuing with this. This is the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage. I forgot to give the shout out to Sentinel Storage, who present all present my gloating, I guess, if you will. They might not want to be associated fully with that, but today I'll say that.
Maybe we have
Here's
another
the thing,
new
though.
sponsor.
Sentinel Storage, they just sponsor winners. That's why they sponsor EST.
Sentinel Storage for all your storage needs, unless you need to store Matthew Iwanyk's Ego. A week. Wow. Iwanyk's ego. Then there is no storage that is large enough to keep that head.
Don't need it. I'll let you continue. My
right.
ego is supposed to be put on the side right now.
Okay,
On
well,
behalf of Edmonton Sports Talk.
Ryan Lotsberg and myself are not here to cry. We're not here to whine about what's happened. Okay. I know RCN was in the chat this morning saying, "Oh, great, Dash is on the Hangout. What is the Hangout sponsored by? Wine? Which wine is it going to be sponsored by? Good one, RCN. Good one.
Well done, RCN. Round of clicks for you.
Oh yeah. You get one round of clicks. Okay. This is not
please.
Oh,
There we go.
there it is.
Yeah, two clicks there.
This is not about winners and losers. Heavy hockey, team heavy hockey. We either win as a team or we lose as a team. Okay, we don't point fingers.
Hold up, it's not one about winners and losers. It absolutely is. We got a trophy to prove it. Look at that. That's winning. This right here means winning. When you don't have the trophy, it means losing. So just throwing that out there.
That's the difference.
Yeah, then when you have a trophy, it does matter about winning and losing.
All right. Okay. Well,
Sorry to interrupt there, but I had to correct that.
I would just like to say that I think SACE is the big winner in all of this, and that's the winner that matters.
100%.
What I am here today to do is to be the defense counsel for one Thomas Bartholomew Gazzola in the defamation lawsuit of Edmonton Sports Talk versus one Thomas Bartholomew Gazzola. Now, if you're not familiar, defamation and the definition of is a false statement presented as fact that might damage someone's personality. And I just find it very convenient that Ryan and I were not allowed on the Hangout yesterday. Oh no, let's have Brendan Eric come and sit in this chair. So you can fill his ears, his young virgin interim years with BS. trying to persuade not only your colleagues' votes, but the public vote to try to feel good about this win.
If there's one thing I know, Big Uke and I do not agree on a lot. Big Uke will defend me on this one, and that's when I know you are wrong. Big Uke already in the nasty chat. Benedict Gazzola can defend himself. He's a big boy. There's nothing false about Paulies. Better. Our nasties were there. Our nasties saw what happened. There is no massaging the facts and changing things. We are stating the facts. Our nasties were there to see that. There's nothing you could say to defend Tommy.
Maybe the
that will
facts,
change the feelings.
Maybe some of the facts that you speak of have not been presented. Maybe some of the facts that you speak of have been twisted just a little bit in your favor. Maybe.
Floor's yours. What are the facts?
Well, let me present to you.
I will explain.
At first, I would like to set up this whole situation.
We got this whole scene. I'll get 2 hours here.
It is a good thing we've got 2 hours because I might take it.
I need Oilers Utah chat coming up on the show today. So let's not take
Tommy's
2 hours.
reputation is worth more than 2 hours.
It is not.
Okay.
He ditched him. He ditched EST.
Oh boy.
There's a reason we're saying the guy can't drink from the cup. Sorry, Tommy. I know you're listening in there in the dash chat, but you ditched us.
All right. So let's give all the nasties.
Delsey knows this. Dusty knows this.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Zach knows this.
Ladies and gentlemen of the nasty. Listeners of the tune in. Everybody, you need to have the whole story before you start making opinions. All right? I bring to you Exhibit A. Roster deadlines for the Heavy Hockey Showdown run February 15th. February 15th, 2025. One Sean Bell being added to the EST roster.
What's that got to do with Tommy here?
Happened. Oh, I'm just setting the stage.
No, there's nothing to do with Tommy
setting the stage. I object, Your Honor. This is bantering.
There's no judge here.
We'll see.
Who's the judge? Okay, our listeners will be the judge, and they're for once going to defend me.
Maybe I'll allow this.
Yeah. Thank you, Lotsie. Thank you, Lotsie. If we need to get Eric and Will in here, that's fine. Somebody with some morals.
I'll bring Trevin.
Sure. No. Well, sure. Bring Trevor in.
Listen to me.
Trevor did not want to be a part of this. Once he saw what you were up to, once YouTube Trevor with morals saw what you were trying to rebuild, Trevor decided to run to Pincher Creek.
Trev couldn't come.
Sure, yeah, because he was embarrassed to be a part of this.
So we added a replacement player. We were able to, just like Team Canada added Drew Doughty in advance. And the Four Nations roster was presented, and Drew Doughty wasn't on it. And then all of a sudden there was a missed player because Alex Pietrangelo couldn't make it. And we were able to add, as a nation, Drew Doughty.
I state my case, Your Honor.
Trevor couldn't
there was
up,
official rosters supplied that there was none of Sean Bell's name on.
Because
why did Quinn Hughes not get to go play with the Americans? Because there were roster rules.
But the tournament started.
Yes, past the roster submission deadline.
Alex Pietrangelo couldn't play. Trev said, I can't play. So we needed to replace him.
Was Trev on the original roster, though?
Yes.
No rules state you can bring in your own replacement without declaring this to the committee of the Heavy Hockey Showdown. So not only do we have one illegal roster player.
That's nothing to do with Tommy's still here.
Number 13 on your team doesn't even have a name on the back of his jersey. He just shows up. You don't even know his name.
He was great.
You don't even know his name. You said this on the Hangout yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know his name.
Some guy on our team, I don't even know his name, wins the 50-50. He was so new to your team that you don't even know who this guy is. That's the type of coach that you claim to be, and you don't even know his name.
It's 13 is his name. Do you ever watch the show House? That's all you need to know.
February 15th, the rosters needed to be in, and your goalie wasn't declared until 1 week ago. And he stood on his head and had this glove hand. So, Exhibit A for the people. Matthew Iwanyk had a minimum, and Pizza Boy, you're not free out of this either. A minimum of 3 illegal players on their roster. Exhibit B,
No one told me about this.
Exhibit B. I'm on to my next exhibit. Surveyor Brett. I've got the proof right here. I will submit it to Judge Lotzy.
All right. Judge. He's on your team.
Oh, well, whatever. Brendan, come on over.
Brendan's the
Eric,
judge.
whoever wants. That's fine. Okay, look at.
Again, this doesn't say anything about Tommy. This has nothing to do with the Tommy thing and protecting Tommy's name.
Judge Lotzy, whose idea was it to give Team Edmonton Sports Talk some opportunities for power plays?
Looks like it was one surveyor, Brett.
Yeah, Brett Luchansky came up with the idea all of a sudden, last minute, the night before. Oh, hey, maybe we'll give you some power plays.
Hold up a second.
Maybe we'll give you some power plays. Let me tell you this.
Two
So clearly
questions
Brett
on that.
has a conscience,
Okay.
felt bad about the fix being in,
Kate,
has a conscience.
I wasn't
and
here for
says,
that.
Look,
you can't put that on me.
I'm going to give you guys some sort of ability
He's not arguing it happened.
to level the
Everybody's
playing
putting
field.
this on. He's trying to defame me here to defend Tommy, and he's defaming me.
Oh,
Okay, but here's the question.
I'm setting the table.
Okay, well, I'm going to counter on this one. Objection, Your Honor. Whose idea was it to bring Surveyor Brett on the Hangout last Friday?
Tom Gazzolas.
No, it wasn't.
It was mine. You're right.
Exactly. Yeah. You brought him on here. He came up with that idea. It's all your fault. Boom. Lawyered.
So maybe this is
How
just
I Met Your Mother fans will know that one. That's just something out there.
Maybe Brett calling me with his guilty conscience
Oh, hold up. Actually,
the night before the
you're
game.
having direct conversations with the official in the lead up to this game. You're having constant communication with the official leading up to this game. And we're the ones cheating here? Yeah, that's not suspicious.
Yeah, well, I think we would have to keep our eye on things. Otherwise, we would have no idea if these conversations weren't happening.
What would be
What
like
type
if
of
we
BS
came out
you were
all of a
actually
sudden,
trying to pull?
The Florida Panthers were texting with the refs during the Stanley Cup Finals, like appalling. And that's what you're doing. You're texting with the coach in advance of these games.
Where do you think? What am I going to tell Corey came from? The players, they talk. It's okay. Don't worry.
Appalling.
I think this was all maybe a ruse by Surveyor Brett
I don't text Surveyor
as
Brett.
a pretty neatly planned alibi. Oh, I'm going to make it look like I'm the good guy, give you guys a bunch of power plays because I feel bad. They're clearly bringing in illegal roster players. Exhibit C.
It was e-bugs,
Exhibit C.
except not goalies.
The character
Players.
of Matthew Iwanyk must be brought into question.
What is there
In
to
order
bring
to
into
set the
question?
table.
Everyone knows I have no character. I have
Thank
nothing.
you. I rest my
Everyone
case.
knows this.
I rest my
What
case.
are you trying to bring up to me?
I rest
Like there's
my
nothing
case.
changing on that one.
Okay.
What is your bring up your exhibits for that?
Look, you were the Nielsen Show draft commissioner, which was a position to uphold the law,
I did.
was a position to be integral
VR agrees
and
with
have
me.
morality
I did.
brought. And what happened?
I
the
resigned.
people of the draft kicked you out.
No, they didn't. I resigned.
Kicked you
They
out.
didn't have the guts to kick me out. I resigned.
They were so disgusted
That they offered me
With
my job
your-
back. Eric said he calls for reinstatement. I resigned.
I would like Eric to come in here and say that because
Eric would say he called for it.
Your Honor, this is hearsay.
Eric will come in and say that he called for reinstatement. He was fully in favor of reinstatement.
No,
That's,
no.
I believe the quotes of Eric is full reinstatement. Full reinstatement. Just yelled it. See? So it was,
No,
I
no.
resigned. They didn't kick me out. Get your
No.
facts straight.
All right.
Lawyered.
Admittedly on the show yesterday,
VR Montenegro, hashtag Batty is right. Thank you, VR.
you said that you abandoned your team the year before,
I didn't abandon my team the year before. They failed
you
us. They failed the coaching staff.
fully blamed them for the loss.
I just said that on the air like last year too. Yeah, they let Fergie, Coach Pete, myself, and Lieutenant
Yeah,
Eric down.
so this is the type of coach that's rebuilt his team through cheating, that is now taking all the glory, sipping from the cup,
Yeah.
bragging about how much of a winner he is, when, quite honestly, you did nothing but point fingers when your team lost. Lotzy and I, hey, we come in here. We're willing to win as a team, lose as a team. We don't point fingers.
Sounds like you're crying a little
We don't
bit
make
right now.
excuses.
There's a lot
All right?
of tears coming from that side of this room.
Okay. So in order to prove that I believe there was a bit of a fix in,
Big U Dash is 0 for 4 right now
with the ref. All right.
Okay, but what does this have to do with Tommy still? I'm still trying to figure out what this has to do with Tommy.
Oh, I will get there.
Tommy's thing.
I will get there.
This is the longest road to getting to that.
I will get there.
Hey, let's get to Calgary, but first, let's drive to Toronto to get to Calgary.
Sure. Exhibit D. The quote of Dustin Nielsen yesterday on the morning show.
They score. I probably shouldn't have done this, but Tommy was a traitor. He went to the other side, so they score, and they're gathering around for they like to give everybody a high five, like they're in a little circle. And I had turned back up the boards, and I kind of skated right through their circle, and I saw Tommy, and he had this smile on his face, like he was enjoying playing for the other team. So I put a shoulder right into his chest and knocked him on his ass. And I could see poor Tommy. I looked. He's like, I don't think you get. I mean, I probably should. It was kind of a jerk move, but we were trying to send a message to Tommy Gazzola. And I mean, none of the refs did anything about it.
None of the refs did anything about it.
It's not my problem.
While your
EST's
players
problem.
are admittedly talking about gooning up other players.
I thought this was hockey.
Illegally.
Thought we're playing hockey.
Who was on the hangout yesterday talking about cheating? And Tommy cheating when he knocked over Belzy, who fell over.
That was a cheat, and the refs called it. If you have an issue with Surveyor Brett, call it Surveyor Brett right now. Do not call it EST. We sent the message to Tommy.
Oh, were they cheating? Hold on, I've got one more admission in Exhibit D here. If my internet works. Good time for that to be clocking. Maybe this is a good time to go to Brendan, because if we bring up the penalty in question.
Which penalty?
At the end of the game.
The one where you guys got called the penalty on Tommy, even though Tommy was on your team.
Yeah,
and when we didn't get the power play.
No.
Even though Tommy's playing on your team, and the books clearly stated a penalty for Tommy. But Tommy's playing for your team, and Tommy didn't go to the penalty box.
No.
That was kind of rigged.
This is the penalty.
And then you guys scored on it.
That Tom Gazzola, while Sean Bell is playing keep away with the puck.
Yeah.
Tommy maybe sneezed or had a little sniffle within 5 feet of Sean Bell.
Seemed like he took him down.
And Sean Bell fell over and
took them down.
Just as proof, we've got footage. So tune into the nasty chat. We've got footage of Sean Bell being hit by Tom Gazzola. Tell me if this looks like a penalty.
No, that was taken down.
Fell down like a house of cards.
Why are you putting something on our screen?
Exactly.
Turning your back on EST2 over here, Brendan?
I'm sure, though, that it was a no-hit hockey game, right? But
it is, and the Belzy put him into the boards.
Well, that's what I was going to say too. You had to rough Tommy up a little bit for making that decision during the game.
Problem with that.
Belzy did at one point get him around at the boards and get a shot in.
Call the penalty.
Also, at the end of the game,
I'm sure, though.
Okay, so now we've got both Matthew Iwanyk and Dustin Nielsen admitting to cheating. And let me tell you, you had Murray McCord on yesterday.
It's just we did something against the rules, and in the end, it just wasn't called. That's not our problem.
Murray McCord, clearly an outstanding gentleman.
Yeah.
Clearly understands his hockey. Clearly oozing character. What was Murray's gut feel to that? What did he say?
Also, at the end of the game, we were up 1. Belzy went on the ice, and he played keep away with the puck. He didn't want to give up that puck. He was going up against Tommy and drew a penalty. Tommy took Belzy down, got the penalty. He went to the box.
How did he get Belzy down?
How did he get Belzy down?
I believe if you continue, I say he cheated.
No, I cut it off right there.
Yeah, because I pointed out that he cheated. He took Belzy down.
By sneezing in Belzy's
When you
vicinity.
trip someone,
Okay.
that's a penalty. That's all I'm going to say on that one. Also on that, again, that goes to the officiating. This is hockey. Call the penalty. You're the one that tried buying penalties during the game. You're the one that called the ref over.
Prove it.
And said how much to take more penalties.
Let me also continue with my exhibits here.
No defense to that one.
In the fact that nobody would even touch that cup yesterday. You asked Brendan for a sip. Clearly, I know he's fighting for a job at EST. So he's just probably going to want to do what you guys, ask him to do and be a little bit of a follower that way. No. Brendan has morals. Says, I'm good. I don't want to drink out of that cup. I'm good. And why is it that you and Dusty were the only ones to drink out of the cup? Zach didn't want to drink out of the cup. Eric didn't want to drink out of the cup. Trevor wanted, because they all have morals. Nobody
I think they don't want to drink alcohol that early in the morning.
To be a part.
It was 10 o'clock. It was 9 o'clock in the morning, and I think they didn't want to drink alcohol at that point.
No, nobody wanted to be a part of your shenanigans and be a part of this cheating monstrosity called Team EST. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, nasties, everybody that is listening, my client, my hero, my friend, Tom Gazzola, should be heralded.
For what?
Heralded.
For ditching us?
For being a hero when his own team, he did not want to be part of a championship
hold up a second.
that was going to cheat. This is like...
If Tom doesn't leave, Tom doesn't get hit in the boards. Dusty doesn't go through and hit him. He doesn't get any of that. He didn't
deserve any of that.
So if Tom
He's a Robin Hood.
Look, I believe VR Montenegro and Norman Combine and Big Uke have great integrity. And they were booing Tommy every time he touched the puck. There's a reason for that. There's a straight up reason for that. And I'm not going to call out those guys and say that they're wrong. They know what they're doing. They have eyes. They can see things. They've watched a lot of sports. They know what's right. They know what's wrong. And what they saw, they didn't see what we were doing was wrong. They understood what we were doing. They saw what Tommy did was wrong. You don't leave your team. You don't ditch your team. And that's what Tommy did.
I would also ditch my team if they were just dirty, dirty cheaters. And I didn't want to be a part of a championship like that.
Everything you said about the cheating
I would
basically
also
came
walk
after
out.
Tommy left us. So,
No.
and again, he can't even defend himself.
Pre-roster.
You have to defend him for it.
Pre-roster.
No, it was EPUG.
No such thing.
EPUB.
Can't even say it right.
Are you sure?
EBUG.
Try again.
EBUP.
We're here for you.
EBUP. It's an EBUP.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I believe so. Plus, we had to Trev couldn't show up. Trev had to leave town. We needed to replace him. So we replaced him.
I mean, Trev bailed on this thing like faster than... I mean...
Wasn't bailing. He wanted to play. He had to go to town. He had to leave town. There's not much we can do about that. Paulie's better. Thank you, everyone.
He left town faster than Ice Cube's rap career. Brendan liked that one.
Brendan scored, or Zach scored on you guys. So with a nice
Hey,
penalty
all
shot,
the power to Zach. I mean, you know, he was,
That's cool.
you know, giving money for charity to go, and
you can say all you want. You can say we
Zach put his
cheated, all
stamp
that.
on legend.
In the end, you guys traded for Tommy. You guys then somehow called a penalty against Tommy on us, even though it should have been Tommy in the box. You guys scored on it because you guys cheat that way and stuff. But we didn't whine and complain
I mean,
fully about
good
that.
coaching is going to execute on their opportunities.
Well, as Big Uke said,
Good team. Good.
If only Dash tried this hard as coach, maybe his team would have had a chance. More effort into these terrible arguments than coaching and motivation, which I think is a great point.
Listen,
And had you just focused on the X's and O's and focused on winning, you'd have this. But you know who has this? EST. And what I say is come take it from us next year. But you won't because we're too good. And Edmonton Sports Talk's too good.
The three names you keep mentioning, okay? Big Uke. Yeah, Big Uke. Norman a Combine. Norm. Okay. VR, if that is your real name. Pandering.
To who?
To
me?
To Matthew Iwanyk.
They do not pander to me.
Who creates
Big Uke
the nasty...
If you're going to say Big Uke's going to pander to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you believe that, Big Uke?
Big Uke might have told me that he has a bit of a strategy to get himself to be nominated for Nasty of the Year.
Big
and
Uke,
he's a hell of a nasty. Let's.
Big Uke wouldn't tell you that.
Facts.
Yeah, that he won't talk to
If
you.
Big Uke wants to deny that,
You just said facts. He said he doesn't talk to you.
Then
You
we
said
know who we're
facts.
dealing with.
So he just.
Then we know who
I
we're
said
dealing
that.
with.
Again.
Facts
Lawyer.
that he said it. Yeah. So
Even see Jason LeDuc. Him and
Pandering.
I'm with Maddie.
Pandering.
And Jason LeDuc's not always with Maddie. Jason LeDuc and I, it's not always there, and he's even with me. When you're losing the battle and people are agreeing with me, you really lost the battle. That's when that's probably fair. Really lost the battle here. So you can say all you want. You can bring this notebook. You can bring all these things. In the end, there's 2 games that were played, and Team Heavy Hockey didn't score more goals than Team EST in either of those 2 games.
So what you're saying is I'm doing the impossible and I'm providing support in the public for Matthew Iwanyk.
You're just, and that's just going to help us for next year because people are going to want to defend EST and everything that we're doing. And you're just hurting yourself more for next year. We're going to have a bigger audience for this, and we're going to keep this. And now everyone's going to drink from it. Everyone on like look, and as I've said, every one member of that team for the next year, feel free to stop by. We'll pour something in this. We've got lots of drinks. You can drink from it.
Cheaters Ale. I got a couple of those in the fridge. Illegal roster lager. I can't wait till Friday beer of the week.
I'm on it. Maybe I'll pour some in there after. This is what I'll do for the beer of the week from.
How many trophies are available to Showdown?
There is 2.
Which one's more important?
We've got to present the fundraising trophy, which Team EST won last year. This year, the winner was
Team Heavy Hockey.
Beautiful. Congratulations, you guys. Because that is ultimately what it is. It is for say. So congratulations on that trophy. You guys get that one for the next year. That was sitting as people walked in our office this past year, but
we each get an ear.
This one will get that. So I credit to you guys on that one. Credit to you guys on that one.
The real champions. So not only did we have to beat Team EST, we also had to beat the refs. And we couldn't do both.
You're the one talking
as
with
a
the ref.
team. We did our
constant
best.
communication with the ref.
But we still won the trophy that mattered.
The ref onto the hangout. When one host isn't around, the other host didn't even know that this was happening. Tried to buy penalties mid-game because things weren't going your way.
I tried to talk to you about the guests. Your response to me was, I'll be in Mexico.
That's right.
I don't give a bleep. Ask Tommy.
Did you ask Tommy?
Yes. And Tommy said, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And then,
bring on Surveyor Brett.
And then you take Tommy.
A man of
you
character,
trade for Tommy
unlike my colleagues at EST.
So when did the collusion start? Was it
when you
on
started
Thursday?
Filling out the opposite names that you were supposed to on the roster sheets?
When Mike, the assistant coach, came into our room, took Tommy, you guys planned this ahead of time. So the Tommy betrayal wasn't even a spur of the moment thing. Tommy betrayed us ahead of time and knew this was coming.
Character.
That's why he didn't have his skates maybe sharpened properly.
And now you figure it all out.
So you guys all planned Tommy ditching. So
no, we didn't all plan anything.
This makes Tommy worse.
Tommy Gazzola has couth.
This makes
dignity,
it worse. This makes it worse.
Pride
for Tommy.
Morals.
You guys planned this?
Of all the people that took part in the Heavy Hockey Showdown from EST,
like betrayal.
Tommy is the only winner. He's the only one that walks away with his dignity.
Betrayal in the moment is one thing, but to plan your betrayal is even worse. Your whole thing trying to defend Tommy here, you just actually made it worse now. Because now you're saying that Tommy betrayed us days ago.
Might have made it worse for you, but our Robin Hood, he's the biggest hero we've ever had. Tommy Gazzola. Tommy Bartholomew Gazzola, looking out for the little guy.
Great. Paulie's better. Who's the MVP of the game?
For the little guy.
Paulie's better. And here's what I like. As I focus on Team EST, as I let my team celebrate, they get the summer. They get the fall. They get to time to celebrate. I'm back in the film room looking how to improve this team. It was a thing 365, from last year. Right away, it was how do we win this trophy? And I let the boys relax, train, and they did that. And now they get the year to celebrate.
Now you're going to take
And I'm going to let them do it. I know. They get the chance to celebrate.
Oh, no, they did nothing all summer while you did all the work. But you're not trying to take the credit.
They were in the
after you abandoned them last year.
They were in the workout room.
last year.
They were in the workout room. They were training. This year, they got to go do all of that stuff, but they got to go celebrate. I don't need them to come into do all the dirty work. No, you enjoy your victory, boys and gal. You enjoy your victory.
Matthew.
I'll get into the film room to see how could we be just a little bit better. What players do we need to be a little bit better? You guys enjoy your celebration. You guys enjoy your championship with the cup. And when we come back a year from now, you're just going to be that much better.
He's already trading everybody from last year.
I'm not trading anyone.
I'm
not trading
find
anyone.
New players to replace
we've got to
the
replace
ones that
Tommy.
won you a trophy.
We got to replace Tommy.
Oh, Glenn Maw wasn't good enough for you?
I don't know if Glenn Maw's going to want to be with us next year. Maybe because he's been Team Heavy Hockey for a little bit. I don't know. People might not show up. I've got to have roster ready to go. Look, you don't just replace Trevor.
You don't just replace Glenn Ma. The guy's never lost this
100%.
game.
You don't just have Trevor go, I'm out of town this weekend, and then you scramble for a player. Why do you think we have Belzy on the... You plan for these
You
things.
guys are complaining about a trade where you got a player. You got exactly what the Oilers need. A guy that wins every time.
We did, but...
And carries his team. You wouldn't have won without Glenn Ma. We had to send somebody over to your team as a throw-in to carry you.
It'd be like Ryan Nugent-Hopkins going to the boys, I want to leave. You don't do that. You don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Tommy did. But we won. Tommy's going to have to live with not being a winner. And we're going to be even better next year.
I think
even
Tommy
better
will
next year.
sleep just fine with his morals intact.
Yet he can't show his face in this office over the last 2 days.
Oh, and yet Dustin Nielsen takes off before I come today. Convenient as well.
He doesn't need to see you.
Well,
He saw enough of you over the weekend.
I'm sure he had enough guilt that he didn't want to see me. He had to look at himself
I'm
in
sorry.
the mirror. That's hard enough.
I believe champions go to Disneyland.
How did he not say that on the ice when he was holding the trophy? How did he
I'm off to
How did he not stare into the camera and say, I'm going to Disneyland? Okay.
That's how it goes.
And look, you know what? You brought up Paulie Gazzola earlier and like
not take shots at
Nathan, Big U, can't seem to keep Paulie's name out of his mouth. I got a message for Paul Gazzola. All right. Paul Gazzola, you look in this camera right now. You can't have a new guy or a newcomer
What camera are you looking
come in and steal the show.
Yeah, it's
Paul
not
Gazzola.
that camera's not even facing you.
Paul Gazzola.
Well, he did steal the show. He's MVP.
You can't have a newcomer come in and steal a show.
But he did it.
It's like an EST Bible
I know, but he did
verse. Well,
did it.
so he's going
Paulie's
against
better.
brutal.
Paulie's better.
I mean, the fact that your brother's scoring game-winning goals and Paul Gazzola's winning MVP trophies
Two of
goes against everything EST believes in and not having a newcomer come in and steal the show.
It goes to the
Clearly the
beautiful
fix was
moves
in.
that Edmonton Sports Talk made over the summer to improve our team. That two of our additions played major factors in our victory. That we had Paulie be the MVP and my brother score the game-winning goal.
Neither one of those guys do that without us giving you Glenn Ma. That's all I'm saying. Without Glenn Ma's leadership, experience, motivation.
We won game one before the trade.
Mm-hmm.
Just throwing that out there.
I mean, we felt bad for
And we didn't even have Belzy for
embarrassing
most
you
of that
guys
game.
last year.
We didn't have Belzy for most of that game. And we still beat you. So
You didn't have your illegal roster player. What a
You
great
could-
excuse you have.
well, it's not illegal. So Team Canada had Drew Doughty was an legal roster player for Team Canada at the Four Nations.
May I bring up Thomas Harley?
Are you saying Canada's victory at the Four Nations is fraudulent? Canada cheated at the Four Nations. Are you going against Canada here, Dash?
Well, now that's a statement, isn't it, Matthew Iwanyk? I would never go against Canada. And
Exactly.
You watch your mouth, Jesse.
Lawyered. Our roster was perfectly legal. We just proved it. Otherwise, Canada's roster was illegal at the Four Nations. We just replaced players.
But the NHL had those rules in place to allow those players to come. The committee at the Heavy Hockey Showdown did not have those rules
Thank you,
in
Ryan.
place.
Did you have
Thank you, Ryan.
any rules?
Yes.
Where are those rules?
Emailed to all of the players.
Did it specifically
coaches
state that
and
if
teams.
a player dropped out, we couldn't replace him?
Yes.
Where? Please present those facts right now. You came prepared with a bunch of other things. Present those facts for me.
I'll bring those
Lawyered.
next time.
I don't know. Team EST, baby.
Next time.
Congrats to all you nasties out
I
there.
forgot my email password.
We did this for you. We did this for you.
Hashtag Tommy Strong.
Sorry for that slur. This is
Hashtag justice for Tommy.
EBUP.
All I know is it sounds like we have a nominee for Controversy of the Year.
There's no
The Heavy
controversy.
Hockey Showdown.
In the end, there is no controversy from this side. Actually, it's Tommy ditching us is the controversy of the year.
Hero of the year. Hero move of the year.
Yeah, is Sean Bell holding on to that puck
Oh,
and Tommy
Sean Bell.
tripping him,
Mhm.
taking him down in the most egregious way possible.
Oh my.
How else do
By
you take
tickling him with a feather.
How else
Yeah,
do you
thank you,
take
Ryan.
down a man like Sean Bell without just mauling him.
I mean, the guy's got quads of a sequoia.
Exactly. So
and
you
went
have
down
to-
like paper mache.
You have to completely maul that guy. And he did. That's what Tommy did. And that's why there was a penalty.
Is Tommy capable of such a strong and
Clearly.
heroic act?
I saw
doesn't
him.
have that type of viciousness in him because
Wow.
he's a saint.
Clearly he did. Because
He's
I
a
saw him do it
saint.
this Saturday. Everyone else saw him do it this Saturday. The ref saw him do it this Saturday. The ref that's in your back pocket saw him do it this Saturday.
Your back pocket, apparently.
I don't talk with the guy.
I mean, he allowed your illegal player. How did that happen? Seems convenient.
It was
Pretty little alibi you guys cooked up.
again.
Mhm.
Drew Doughty, Hartley.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to jump in with a just a bunch of mm-hs right now.
I've just been sitting here looking pretty through most of this argument.
Somebody's got to.
Nasty's triumphant, VR Montenegro. That's right. And Glenn Ma, yes, you're very much welcome on our team next year as well. I'll just throw that out there right now. Abutsky, Dash's argument is flimsy as Jasmine's resolve when she's offered bottle service. So,
If we had a text of the day, there it is.
in
If
the
Jasmine
end,
was here,
she'd agree with us.
she would have the morality to stand up to you guys, tell you that Tommy is a hero.
No, the thing is, Jasmine is a winner.
Jasmine
And Jasmine would be proud that we went and we won.
Jasmine would be embarrassed that her co-host
Jasmine
would
would love
resort to the levels you
Bottle
have.
service out of this.
Well, yeah, still, yeah,
So-
that's irrelevant. I mean, that's
Glad that
obvious.
she won
but
it.
has nothing to do with how embarrassed she
on
is
Friday,
of you.
she's gonna love it. On Friday, she's gonna love this when she comes in. And she's gonna see this and she's gonna praise us. So here's
We'll
what
see.
Dash. I'll just say this. Last year, when Team AST lost, and I wanted to the focus, I didn't cry about the loss. I didn't sit there whining for months about
No,
how
you
we
just
lost.
blamed your team.
I did blame my team. No question about that. It wasn't, I defended my coaching stuff, but I also had the resolve that we had to regroup and focus on next year.
I'm not here to complain.
And
I am here.
I would say the last 46 minutes begs to differ.
I am here to clear Tom Bartholomew Gazzola's name.
Again, Tom didn't come up for the first 30 minutes of that. Maybe instead of focusing on what happened on Saturday, you should focus on what to do to improve. Because as I said, I've already focused on that.
Tighter rules.
Yes,
Trust me,
yeah.
we've talked about it. Oh yeah,
Because you know you can't
get
do
rid
it.
of the loopholes.
Because you know you can't do it on the ice. You have to look at changing the rules. Just like the Oilers of the 80s, they had to change rules against the Oilers of the 80s to try to bring them down. But in the end, they still won 5-7.
For the record, they're still changing the rules against the current Oilers.
That is a very good point. So you want to know something? Maybe instead of whining and crying about Saturday, instead of usurping your head coach, banishing him
Oh no.
to the door
I
and
heard you
taking
say
over
that
the
too.
bench.
That is BS.
You were on that, but I let Coach Pizza Boy run that bench. That was his team.
Yeah.
I'm the assistant. You're by yourself on top of the bench. You've got your head coach on the door. I don't know what you've got going on over there and trying to usurp power. I let my head coach be the head coach. But in the end, maybe focus on building a better team for next year or getting them in the training room.
Our
to be
coaching
ready
staff
for
had
next year.
defined roles.
In the end, Zach improved over the past year because that's what we did. We encouraged our players to get better, and we added
by
to
throwing
our
them under the
team.
bus and blaming them. That's how we got better.
It worked.
You motivate with fear around here. Think you're
It's
giving Brendan shit for breaking a key yesterday?
Yeah,
Poor
because
guy.
it
He's just
works.
look. He's a big dude.
It works.
Puts a key in a door. It turns to and you're
Zach.
You're going to embarrass him on the air over that.
Zach improved mightily.
I don't take my colleagues and teammates, bring them on my own show just to embarrass them.
If there's a most improved player in
Poor
the Heavy
Brendan.
Hockey Showdown, it is Zach.
Poor
by
Brendan.
far, not even close. So he responded properly to that.
Hashtag justice for
So
Brendan.
again, focus on being better next year as opposed to crying on why you lost, because that's why you didn't have this trophy this year. You didn't have the eye on the prize.
Tune
We
in
did.
Sunday for the new show on
We
Edmonton
did.
Sports Talk, hosted by Brennan Eric and Tommy Gazzola, called Integrity in Sports. Tommy will not be in the building because he doesn't want to be in the building with all these cheaters.
I don't know why you're lumping him in all this.
I'm just trying to garner support any way I can at this point.
Exactly, because you got none. I mean, he's not even defending you. Your own boy here is not even defending you.
Oh, he was.
Oh, yeah, maybe privately, but publicly he's not.
Because you won't let him speak.
You're the one doing all the talking. It's been 49 minutes now of complaining. Tears flowing.
All I'm
People
going to say is
downstairs.
enjoy that trophy for the next 363
Boom.
days.
If I could drop this mic, I would.
We will. And then do you know what's going to happen? We're going to do it for another 365 more after that.
Yeah. You just wait till Sean Bell feels all this guilt over the course of his time and decides he wants to play with his co-host at Hello Hockey. Maybe he'll be on our team next year. And we'll do it legally. Then what are you going to do?
I wish you luck taking Belzy from us. I wish you luck in that.
I wish him luck finding a helmet that fits next year.
You do know what, like, again, this is what happened to your team is like in that first game, Sean Bell with a beautiful backhand goal.
That was my only regret in the
That
game,
is
I
your
believe.
fault
was,
because you poked the bear.
I did.
And he took it personal.
I may or may not have asked him why he was wearing his kid's helmet. And then he went end-to-end top cheddar. Yeah.
And you think you're going to get Sean Bell on your team?
He might appreciate my humor. Brendan does.
You
He's
guys
laughing right now.
regressed. You guys regressed. We improved. And as EST knows, to stay great, you got to keep, we're not the greatest yet. There's improvement. And we're going to keep improving while you keep focusing on the past. Keep crying. Keep whining. The EST Hangout, presented by Sentinel Storage, Canada Storage experts, more than 2 decades helping Canadians through life's transitions. Canada Storage provider, Sentinel.ca by Canadians, 75% off 8 weeks and 10 by 10 units. That ends March 31st. Helping Canadians through life's transitions. And I don't know if they can help Dash through his transition of losing the Heavy Hockey Showdown, though. You have another notes?
No, maybe.
Oh, great. Aren't we lucky?
Just maybe if we talk about other stuff. Like Jasmine, I got my notes. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, in all sincerity, great job, boys. Great job on the event. Well done, you guys.
Thank you.
Somebody did ask me, and I got the years wrong officially. How many of that showdowns have there been?
This was, I want to say 6 or 7.
Okay, that's what I thought. It was around the 7 mark or something like that.
Third year in support of SACE, but 7th overall.
Well done. So good job, boys. And I do look forward to next year.
And thank you guys for being a part of it.
Absolutely.
All joking aside.
Friday was a great time. Saturday was awesome. It was a good time, and again, it was to everyone. Robert Clark singing the anthem. Hunter was there. A couple of MCs. Lauren and Chris.
Yeah, shout out to Lauren and Chris for doing a great job MCing.
And everyone that showed up in the seats. It was awesome.
It really
awesome
was.
to have a little bit of a crowd down at the downtown community rink. So,
all joking aside, absolute pleasure to have Sean Bell in the game. It honestly made it help elevate the level, and having an ex-NHLer and somebody of his caliber skate around with us was pretty cool. But ring. Oh, hello. Oh, it's the hello. It's the Charmin bear from the toilet paper commercials. He just wanted to let Belzy know he's soft.
that was awful.
You're right. It was pretty bad.
Terrible.
I really screwed that up. The delivery was
Well,
awful.
it was, again, he was mauled. He's completely taken down. That's just...
Mauled by the Charmin Bears.
Tommy went for his legs and took him down. Like, there's not much you could do sometimes when you're being attacked like that. You know, Tommy was just vicious and deserved 2 minutes, and he got those 2 minutes.
Tommy's a saint.
Said no one ever. Tommy's got the Oilers Utah game tonight. We got the Oil Stream pregame show later tonight. 6 o'clock. Tommy Hernan will get you set as the Oilers are back in town. That will follow the Reed Wilkins show today. We've got EST Afternoons. We got 2 guys and a goalie. Myself, Cass, and Gager will be on. And we do got the Lock Shop coming up at 11 o'clock. Who's on the show this week? Today? Today's Tuesday, which means it's going to be Huss, P. Greggy, and Jake, as they will talk some NHL March Madness spreads. That's all coming up on the lock shop. Right now here, this is the EST Hangout. Matt Iwanyk. We've got Brendan, the intern, on the other side of the camera. We've got Dash and the Park and Ryan Lotsberg from Heavy Hockey. We're friends of EST as well. Oilers Live, Wednesdays at 9 o'clock right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. We will get to Oilers right away here, like very quickly here. Dash was looking at the bracket before. Do you guys fill up brackets at all?
It's some years, yeah.
I'll fill this one up.
It's always fun to do and see how you do.
I've never come anywhere close.
Yeah, it's always just a gong show. Like, it never goes anywhere close to well, but always fun.
Are you paying your employees $1 million for the perfect bracket?
I was going to joke, be like, sure, but I'll never just want to do it just in case. What is the odds? It's like 0.000000001% or something like that. We do actually have an EST bracket challenge that way. I've set up a group on ESPN. If you go to EdmontonSportsTalk.com at the top, it should say EST bracket challenge or something. If you click that, you can join us. I'm trying to see if I can think of what type of prizing I have here that I can maybe give to the winner. But even in the worst case, just bragging rights. We do got a bracket. I think Dusty's in there. Reed's in there. I have to fill up my bracket, but I will be in there. And I don't know if anyone else from EST will jump in there. But if you want to take on fellow nasties as well, EdmontonSportsTalk.com at the very top. We got a little bit of a bracket challenge. And as a Duke fan myself, I'm struggling. I think I have to take. They're actually really good this year.
Yeah.
Although I'm worried about Florida. Florida looks good too. And we were talking before the show. They have that 7'9" player, whatever it is.
Yeah, Olivier Roux.
Just ridiculously tall.
Canadian.
They
They won the SEC championship, and as mentioning, he didn't even have to get on the ladder to cut the net down. He just stood there, just grabbed the scissors and cut it. It was just ridiculous.
Doesn't even have to jump to slam. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Needs to adopt the Manute Bowl finger wag. No.
Man,
that is
the future of Canadian basketball down low. Zach Edey and Olivier Roux.
Oh, geez.
No kidding. Yeah. Oh, wow.
I didn't even think.
Wow.
Well, and that was like, we didn't know how many big men I think we were going to have. That was an issue going into the Olympics or something. But yeah,
not anymore.
Yeah,
that
not
talent
next
could
time.
keep going. Jeez, get us to 2028. Oh yeah, LA.
Yeah, 2028. Yeah,
2028 in LA. Yeah, I'm in a big pool usually. It's $40 buy-in, winner take all. I've never won it. I haven't even come close in most of the years. Maybe this will be my year. Lucas Holt of Will the Wolf. He's actually come really close.
Oh, yeah?
Surprisingly enough, he has. Surprisingly enough. Oilers. Utah. How you guys feeling about the Oilers post the 2 wins over this weekend? Have they turned this around? You're just shaking your head no.
No.
You don't think this is the start of a turnaround?
It could be. I'm not sure that effort versus the Rangers is exactly what we want to hang our hat on for effort on a turnaround. I think that they gave the Rangers almost every opportunity to get back in that game. The Rangers didn't capitalize on it. Until this team has a commitment to play away from the puck and play when they're not in the offensive zone, I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. I have full faith that they'll figure it out down the stretch and enter the playoffs with some heat. But to answer your question, no, I don't know. I don't think that's. I mean, it's sure baby steps maybe, but
yeah, I'm not quite there yet either. They squeaked out a win against the Islanders, which I barely saw any of at the watch party on Friday.
Yeah.
But yeah, the game against the Rangers, like, let's give Stu Skinner some credit. He was fantastic. Came up with some huge saves. The game could have been a much different outcome if not for Stu.
I got to sidetrack quickly. Two comments in the nasty chat. Pizza Boy, Horror's our coach. Tommy's got the pregame show live on Utah Sports Talk. And then Surveyor Brett, imagine having to try and ref a game between these two psychopaths. I deserve a trophy too, putting up with these guys. Well, next time, follow your book, Surveyor Brett. Yeah. Penalty for Tommy.
Enforce the rules.
For Tommy. Not for Edmonton Sports Talk, for Tommy. And Tommy is playing for the other team. Sorry. I had a sidetrack on that one quickly. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an optimist with this team because I didn't care about the regular season, and to me, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
I think that come playoffs, they'll turn it on. I know some people you can't just turn it on. I think this team can to a degree. Have we seen Connor McDavid Four Nations, Connor McDavid since Four Nations. There's a reason he turned it on.
He's had a couple games where he's been buzzing, but I thought he was good against the Rangers, but not Four Nations, Connor.
Right, and that's where it's like I do think this team, once they need to turn it on, they will turn it on. And I'm not as worried, but getting those victories now, this is like, I don't think we're going to see another major losing slump from this team. They do have the second softest schedule down the stretch. I did see the Vegas Golden Knights have the fourth softest schedule down the stretch.
Yeah, it's not much different. Yeah.
No, so that changes things for the division. Like, it's not like Vegas is this difficult schedule,
Yeah,
but
we got
there's only 4 points back.
3 against the Sharks, 2 against the Ducks.
2 others?
Yeah.
Look,
Nashville.
Tonight's they're going up against the team that's hungry, but I'm confident the Oilers are still going to get the victory. I haven't lost my confidence in this Oiler team.
I mean, I have and I haven't. I feel like this is just the team we have. Whatever it is with this leadership group that needs to be backed into a corner or have their backs up against the wall in order to compete, I don't understand it. It's hard to keep blaming coaches and saying they can't get these guys motivated because we've had 25 coaches to try and get these guys motivated. I think the flip side to that is they always say, I got to learn how to lose before you can win, right? You know, the old story of the Oilers watching the Islanders with the ice bags on their knees and heads instead of celebrating, which was debunked, but whatever. I think the Oilers have learned how to lose, and I think they've also learned how to win. And I think they realize that a minimal effort will get them by 60 to 70% of the time. And, you know, I think I said it last time I was on the show, like Connor, Dry, whoever, if they've flown too close to the sun, it's hard to get back up for these types of games, I think, in the regular season. And, you know, you get to that point where like you're craving the conference finals again. And I kind of feel like, no, we haven't seen the Connor we'd all like to see, but I have full confidence I'm never betting against McDavid.
Like that learning to win, I wonder if like one of the things that maybe, as you said, that just hit me, could it be partly that they felt that they were gassed by Game 7 last year? That they gave too much last year. And that's why it's like, okay, we've got to conserve some energy through this season. Like, we don't need to play with high intensity every single game as much as everyone wants to believe. Like, no, you play hard every single game. Maybe this team is in there, and especially like, well, Leon's going to get 50 tonight, maybe, you know, and McDavid just, it's not at that pace that we're used to seeing. Still an unbelievable season, but for McDavid, it's not at that other pace.
I mean, he's not leading any statistical categories.
But maybe for the team, it's just one of those, okay, like we are good enough to get victories just by giving 75%. We're going to give that many nights. And then when it matters, we're going to pick it up come April 20th or whatever this first game is. And from there, we're going to be at that level because we've conserved that energy that last year we just ran out of gas. I wonder if that's part of that learning to win and from losing that maybe we're seeing there. And that maybe I'm just too optimistic with this team.
No, that's exactly what I'm referring to. Absolutely.
Right. But I know some will say that that's just an optimist. That's not what we're seeing. This team isn't just like there's holes on this team. Skinner's not good enough. Defense has had their issues. And you know, the secondary scoring is not there. This is just a two-man team again. I get all that, but maybe to me, it's just, maybe I'll just look as the optimist in this and go, that's because overall this is what we're going to see play out. This is a team that just, it doesn't matter. They don't personally think that maybe home ice is as important as much as saving the energy. Game 7 would have mattered last year, possibly if it was in Edmonton, but they want to win in 6 or 5 or 6 as opposed to going to a Game 7, that they don't think home ice is going to be as important.
Yeah, I think where that manifests is the physicality. Like this team is soft, right? Near the bottom of the league in hits, if not at the bottom of the league in hits. I think there's been a concerted effort to not hit. Like Victor Arvidsson ran a guy into the boards near the benches in the Rangers game. I haven't seen that from him all season. Right?
I mean, and like that's a thing that some people say, like Chris Knobloch doesn't want to hit.
Yeah, because puck possession, and like I fully understand that.
But also maybe it's conserve the energy again for the rest. Like maybe hits just throughout the year. Like I don't care about hits through in the month of December.
I absolutely think
pick it up later in the season because if you do those, and again maybe I'm just being on my ass on this, but maybe Chris Knobloch's kind of thing like that could lead to potential injuries or something. Or Let's save it for later. Let's save it for matters. Let's just go get the victories now. Let's go get our points that we need. But once April comes, this is going to be a different hockey team that we are going to see.
Yeah, we've talked about that on Others Live. I think we're probably all in agreement on that. I do think that, Ryan brings up a great point on the physicality. Like the hit totals, game after game after game, seem like they're just all-time low after all-time low. And, you'd say it till you're blue in the face that you need to bang and crash in the playoffs to be able to win. I still think this is the type of team that once the game one of the first round starts, they'll be banging. I bet you our hit totals double from what they did in the regular season.
And then you're going to add Trent Frederick. You might get Evander Kane, right? I don't know when Kane's going to come back, but sometime after the regular season ends.
Yeah.
So
wonder if we'll have Kane and Frederick for game one.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Think so?
Although I think Frederick isn't he should be back before the end of the season.
Oh yeah, Frederick will probably be back next week. I'm
Yeah.
thinking he was only supposed to miss 2 more weeks or something after he got traded.
So then I think it's fine. If Kane comes back game one, it's not like you need to hold him out. Other teams have had. Mark Stone was back game one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You can do that and not have to. People are like, how's that happening and stuff. It's just the two concerns I would have with Kane is what Kane are you getting?
Oh, yeah.
It's been a number of years since we've seen the Evander Kane that people want out of Evander Kane. But the other part is he's not going to come in and get a top 6 role.
No, he shouldn't.
Right. And so is he going to be okay with being on the third line? Is he going to be okay on the fourth line? We saw last season when he wasn't getting those, there was a couple of those little comments that, raised eyebrows with some people going, what do you, why are you calling out the coach? You're just being sarcastic and playful type thing. Is he going to be accepting of the idea of that he's going to be third, fourth to start in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Because if he can't accept that, then you're not getting the Evander Kane that you want. Because he's not going to produce.
I don't think we're getting the Evander Kane we want because of the injury. That's a significant injury he's trying to come back from too, and the knee injury as well, right? 2 sides of the core issue and then the knee. So this is a player that's going to have a long road back. Even not just talking about the recovery, but getting back up to a top 6 level if he ever gets there again.
I can't see him back in the top 6. But.
Yeah, I'm on record as saying I think Kane's going to be an expensive problem if he's back in the lineup at some point. I don't think he's going to be able to skate the way he used to be able to skate. So I think his hit total comes down, his point totals will come down. Right.
Best thing for the Oilers is him to have a pretty, at the very least, an okay playoffs.
And here's the other thing,
because then you could move him.
Fourth line Evander Kane is complaining Evander Kane.
The other thing about Kane is he came here in 22, had the amazing playoff run, and he hits, he crashes, bangs, does all the little stuff that helps you win. And everyone's like, oh, he's made for the playoffs. He's a playoff performer. That's the only year in his career where he's actually been good in the playoffs. He's been worse in the playoffs than the regular season than in every other year than 22. So I don't think Kane is a playoff performer, so to speak. Yeah, his game, his style suits playoff hockey, but I don't think he's a true playoff performer. I
do want to just point out the Oilers have recalled Derek Ryan from Bakersfield. They've just announced that a couple of minutes ago. They're on the ice for the morning skate, 10:30. So in the next few minutes, they will be on the ice. A couple of comments in the nasty chat. Shoggy in St. Albert. If they don't win the cup, then this team should be crapped for the regular season lack of effort. Win the cup and all is forgiven. Where Joe was saying this entire roster is old and showing their age 3/4 of the way through the season. I think if the Oilers don't win the cup, it depends when they lose. If they lose in the Stanley Cup final, it'll hurt. The conversation will be a little different than they got back. What is it going to take to get over the hump? Even a conference finals. It's first, second round exit. That's where there's going to be a lot of questions. And I don't know if there'll be as much crapping on the regular season as it will be the roster construction. It will be what happened last summer.
Yeah, it'll be the offseason.
It will be, I think that's what we'll look at it, that it became the oldest team, that you allowed Dylan Holloway and Broberg to leave, that you went and you made those moves on July 1st. They didn't all fully pan out the way that you were kind of expecting. I think that's going to be more of the focal point over the regular season, was that roster construction was poor.
Yeah, someone might point to not having home ice as a reason we lose at some point, but I agree. It'll always come down to roster construction if a team loses in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs.
Oh, all the fingers will be pointed at Stu Skinner, and
and that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good point. And that's
is-
what's,
it's
it's
to your
tough because
point as
who
well,
knows
it's
how
roster
this, how,
construction.
like they can be knocked out of a playoffs and they don't win the cup in so many different ways and different scenarios that the narrative will come from that. I honestly don't think the regular season will matter as much for that conversation. We'll look mostly at that, how they lost, if they lost, or we'll go to the last offseason.
Yeah.
I think the middle kind of gets thrown out the window a little bit. But yeah, Skinner would be a big conversation point. There's no question about that.
I'd like to make a clarification too. Like I said, I don't have any fear that the team is going to turn it on down the stretch and not going to keep losing like they are. I'm on record many times, as well as on the Hangout last week, when I said that I do think the Oilers are poised for a first round exit. I don't know. I hate to say it as a fan, but I'm looking at Shoggy and St. Albert again and saying here, like, you guys are going to be in for a rude awakening when they can't turn it on in the playoffs. And that is a very, very real possibility.
100% it is. That's they using the term flying close to the sun, being the playoffs last year and wanting to get back. That they're also right now flying close to the sun as like the question that is like, I believe they can turn it on. You think that they can turn it on stuff. Other people think they can't just turn it on. That is flying close to the sun because best of 7, it's 7 games, but it could go quick. And if you don't turn it on right away, all of a sudden your season's now just done.
yeah. And like, what does turn it on mean? Like, we know Connor and Leon can flip a switch and
Right.
put up points at will. But can Zach Hyman do the same thing? Can Nugent Hopkins do the same thing?
Can Rico Brown and Janmark find their third line glory that they had last year?
Bouchard offensively,
like asking for a lot of ifs.
Like, can he just be that more of that offensive guy from last year as opposed to this year?
Those are the things that I worry about. I'm also a little worried about Ekholm. Because I can't remember exactly where I read it. It may have been a Mercury article, but it sounded like a core injury for Ekholm. And we've seen it with Nurse that lingered for years. We've seen it with Kane and bothered him all season. And now look where we are with him. I'm really hoping that's not the road we're going down with Ekholm because he's an important player.
Very.
I'll just jump to last season. At the start of the year when they got into their struggles.
Right.
And part of that, Ekholm wasn't in the lineup.
He was hurt.
Yeah. Like Oscar Klefbom was a huge, major, important player of the defense of the Edmonton Oilers. They replaced him eventually with Ekholm in the end. Like that was, and Ekholm is that important to this team.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to figure out the Oilers record with Ekholm not in the lineup.
Yeah, I would guess
it's not good.
It's not good. It's just an assumption. But I'm kind of with you. And I think I mentioned to you on Friday, like my feeling is this team they're going to lose in the first round and there's going to be this huge disappointment. Or if they get through that first round, there's nothing stopping. They're winning it all. They're going all the way. They know what it takes. They've turned it on. The switch has been turned on. They're ready to go. They got past that. They got those first 4 and it's like, it doesn't matter now who's in their way. They're finishing the business that they didn't finish last year. That's where I am with this team. I don't think there's an in-between. I don't think there's a second round exit. I don't think there's a third round exit. I think it's all or nothing right off the bat.
Yeah, I don't know if I can disagree with that.
I'd say this. I'd move it to the second round because like if we beat LA again, everyone's just going to be like, okay, yeah, whatever.
Sure.
do the thing against Vegas in round 2.
But I think though that the team will just be feeling good about themselves. I don't think Vegas will stop them.
I think Vegas
it'll be a tight
is kind
series,
of
but I don't think I think the Oilers will have their number in that one.
Because there's only like Vegas is one of the teams they've lost to, right? So that's another mental hurdle they have to overcome.
But like, and some will scream about goaltending right now. They did have the lead in every single one of those games, and they blew the lead in every single one of those games. And then they won that series. They're probably winning the Stanley Cup that year. So now it's a mental
thing, right?
So, and that's where it's like, okay, well, is this going to be one of those checklists for Connor and Leon? Like, hey, we're going to take care of business with this team. We're going to finish them off. And that's like last year I would have been worried about Vegas for the Edmonton Oilers. I think the two teams I was most worried about, I think I said was the Avs and the Golden Knights, particularly because of that. I don't have that for the Golden Knights this year. I'm not worried about the Oilers facing the Golden Knights. I'd be worried about the Avs.
Yeah,
that's the team.
The Avs had to reconstruct their entire center ice
about the
depth.
Stars more than anybody, I think.
Well, and what's fascinating though is that if you're the Oilers and you want to go win the Stanley Cup, you only would have to face one of them at most.
Yeah.
because they're playing each other in the first round.
Doesn't matter who it is, though. Whoever comes out of there is going to be feeling just like the Oilers do if they get out of the first round.
Let's not sleep on Winnipeg either. That's never a good matchup for the Oilers. Hellebuck is standing on his head. They're getting offense from everywhere.
Yeah.
But they are the Jets.
Historically, if you go long the history, the Oilers have the Jets number. If you go back to the 80s, they have the Jets numbers.
But then 2022,
100%,
like 21, I mean, sorry.
The Oilers had Hellebuck's number that regular season through the 9 games or whatever that they played the Jets. I think they played Hellebuck like 8 times, and he had I want to guess, and I'll have to go double check, like a sub 9 save percentage against the Oilers, or just it wasn't good. And then the playoffs came. And they kept the Oilers to the outside.
Yeah, I'm going to say that, like, I don't think that was Hellebuck winning them that series. I think it was team defense that won them that series.
It was also the closest sweep I think you'll ever see in the history of
Yes, I thought the Oilers were the better team in at least 3 of those games.
Yeah.
I think first game was an empty
5
netter.
games in 3 games, basically.
Yeah.
First game was an empty netter, I think. So they lost by 2 officially.
Right.
But really 1. And then the other game was a 1 goal, and there was overtimes. And it just one of the closest series. The thing I'm not worried about the Jets for is, like, I do believe in team DNAs and stuff. And the Jets and the Winnipeg DNA is they'll blow it.
Yeah, they can't shake
What's
that.
They'll get past the first or second round maybe or something, but they're going to blow it in the end. And if the Oilers meet them in a conference final, the DNA of the Jets is they're going to blow it.
The Winnipeg Jets kind of remind me of the last, like, Joe Thornton's Sharks. Like, oh, it's going to be their year this year. No, it wasn't their year. It's going to be their year this year. No, it wasn't their year. Kind of what the Jets remind me of.
They'll get close, but they won't get it done.
You talk about the Jets team DNA.
That's their DNA.
What's the Oilers team DNA?
It's an interesting one because part of a DNA, it's the history.
Mm-hmm.
And there is the heights that, the greatest team in NHL history, 84 type thing. I think when
you've heard of team DNA, you're talking about, like, kind of the here and now, or the last 5 years, not decades.
I'm talking decades.
Okay, all right.
The New York Jets DNA is to blow it.
Yeah.
The Cleveland Browns DNA is that they're always going to be some sort of mess.
Yeah, keep the Bengals out of this. We don't need Trevor coming in here throwing fists.
To me, a DNA part of it is it's just who you are. Like, I will take a soccer reference. Real Madrid's DNA is that they will get into the Champions League and they're going to go find a way to win it.
Yeah.
That's just who they are. They can have a rough year in Spain in their league. They could be second, third in the table, not going to win it, but they will find a way to go far in the Champions League because that's the DNA of Real Madrid. I think that, like, in hockey, like, the Jets are one of those teams that just has the DNA to me that ultimately they're going to blow it. The New York Knicks in basketball, the DNA ultimately, it's not going to happen to them.
Mm-hmm.
So the Oilers' DNA is an interesting one because I look at the franchise and if I looked from, 4,000 feet above or type of thing, like, they have they're one of the franchises with more Stanley Cups than anyone else. They've won a lot of playoff games now or series over the last, we could expand this to since the 05-06 lockout. The Oilers actually have a lot of playoff series wins now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Based on these last couple of years. Like, it has elevated them up there and stuff.
Sure.
That it depends who they're playing. The DNA would be, to me, against the Jets. It's the DNA is that they're the winners. They're a team that knows how to win, and the Jets aren't that team.
The Oilers are a team that knows how to win?
Yes, based on the DNA of the fabric of the organization.
Yeah,
over that team.
I'm just not sure that I can agree with, like, the decades back. Yeah, I'm not sure that the 80s Oilers are doing anything to affect the current Oilers, and whether that's woven into
But this is a team that
fair point
lost to the Stanley Cup Finals for 3 straight years.
Like, Shoggy and St. Albert's in here again. The Oilers remind me of the Joe Thornton Sharks. Made 1 cup final. So maybe that's a good comparison instead of my Jets comparison. Like, you're talking about the winning, the DNA of the Oilers is winning.
Those Sharks teams were loaded, right? So, like, I can kind of see the comparison to the Oilers there. Like, Thorntons, the Marlows, the Pavelskis, like, they weren't ever like Connor and Leon's level, but those Sharks teams were loaded, and they just could never get over the hump.
But it took the Sharks to get that DNA a good 10 years of being at the top.
And yeah, they got
and the Oilers haven't got to 10 years yet.
The Sharks kept losing to whoever would win the cup. Whether it was LA, whether it was like Chicago, I think they came up against the one year. That's kind of what the Oilers are doing. Whoever the Oilers play wins the cup. And whoever the Oilers lose to wins the cup.
Charlie Defoe in the nasty chat. Hey, Matt, you're spewing BS on the Jets. We'll see you on the 20th. The 20th is regular season. I don't care. When have the Jets made a Stanley Cup final? Like that's the DNA is great teams, but can't get it done.
Yeah.
Last year it was supposed to be this great matchup against the Colorado Avalanche.
Mm-hmm.
They
What
beat
happened?
the Avs, what was it, like 7-1 or something like
they
that
blew
a
them
couple
up.
weeks before. What happened? Like, that is what historically the Winnipeg Jets seem to me when it comes to the playoffs.
Yep.
You have great, the years that they've had good years, there's expectations, but when it matters, they don't get it done.
Yep.
Sorry, that's just the way I look at it. And you could be a Jets fan and say I'm completely wrong with that. And for like us and all the Jets fans, like I don't have ill will towards the Jets. I would love to.
No,
see
yeah,
them
I don't
go on a run.
either. Yeah.
It'd be a great story
Yep.
if they can go get on that run. History tells me they won't.
Yep.
Then I'm not betting on the Winnipeg Jets. I'm betting on the Colorado Avalanche or the Dallas Stars to knock them out in the second round, possibly. And if the Oilers have to meet them in the conference final because they get through it, I'd like the Oilers' chances. The only cause for concern is 21 or whatever that was.
21, yeah.
Yep.
And that 6-0 loss that we took at on home opener night. But-
DNA is BS. The teams change players every year. Past doesn't matter. And there's a truth to that.
I kind of
Charlie,
agree
there.
with that.
I
to
do,
a
but
certain extent.
I also could point to history and other teams that find ways to constantly go and win, find ways to get it done.
History repeats itself, and then the media puts that narrative on the new players all the time, right? This city hasn't won a championship in X number of years. How do you get over that? And the players all say it's none of us were on those teams, right? But then the same results happen.
I could go find many examples of history where it is that it's this team is going to be successful and they get into the big moments and they find a way to have success. And then there's these other franchises here that just never find that success. They get in the big moments and they always just stumble. They always find a way to stub the Detroit Lions, a franchise that historically, it's just like you're going to find the Buffalo Bills. We had that. That's the Super Bowl we all wanted. No, but that's the Super Bowl we all wanted this year. I said it in November, I think it was.
Bills
I
Lions
said
would've been amazing.
Bills Lions is what everyone wants, but we're going to get Chiefs Eagles, and I specifically said those two teams even. And because that no one wants it, but that's also the DNA of the Bills and the Lions is they will stub their toe prior.
Yeah.
And the Bills and Lions couldn't get it done yet again, and they couldn't get to the Super Bowl. There's just something about the history and that sometimes just repeats itself, and it doesn't make sense because you're right. Players change, the Jets are a brand new franchise. They were from the old Jets do not exist at this moment.
Right.
They are defunct right now, or they're dormant because they are the Arizona Coyotes, and they are sitting in a closet somewhere in Arizona type thing. This current Jets is the Thrashers, as weird as that all is. It doesn't make sense, but we've seen it in sports time and time again that it happens. There are teams that just can't ever get it done, and there are the teams that just seem to know how to get it done. And to me, the Winnipeg Jets fall into that one category of a team that doesn't know how to get it done.
On the topic of the Winnipeg Jets and history repeating itself, I kind of find myself looking back to, if we want to talk about those Sharks, if we want to talk about the Bruins a few years ago, teams that just sleepwalk through the regular season don't generally do that well in the playoffs.
Not in hockey.
You need to face adversity. You need to have some challenges. You need to be able to know that the guys beside you can run through the brick wall beside you and drag you into the fight. And
you guys could correct me though on here. What happened to the Lightning? Because they had the sleepwalk year, got knocked out by the Blue Jackets, won the cup the next year.
Didn't they win the President's Trophy that year where they got swept by the Jackets?
yes,
Yeah, it was I think it was one of the best seasons we've seen in hockey until
absolutely.
the Bruins had
That's right.
the couple years ago.
right. Who also lost?
But then what happened the next year? Like, because they won the cup. I don't remember how good of a season they had. I thought it was like they had a good season again.
Yeah.
They might be one of the more recent examples of a team that.
I think they won the division. I have a buddy who's a big Tampa fan. He'd be able to tell me. But
And then that was the law or the COVID year where we played a regular season until March, shut down, came back to the bubble, and then they won in the bubble.
right?
yeah, like the
But-
Atlantic was Toronto, Boston, Tampa. Those three teams at the top for how many years? Like a handful of years there, right? So like they were
That's
at
the-
least top three.
That's the 1920 season, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, that was the COVID year. Yep.
While I look this up, portions of this hour of the EST Hangout, they're brought to you by the Hive Product Marketing, official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Stock, promotional products that bring the buzz. Check them out, thehiveproductmarketing.com. There's the card.
Multitasking at its best
Yeah, I
right
was just
there.
thinking,
I was actually pretty surprised.
My brain cannot
I was
compute the way
actually
you
quite
were just
surprised I
doing
was
there.
able to read that entire liner while typing what I needed to type on my phone. So they finished second at the time. They had the second best points percentage in the Eastern Conference. They were 43, 21, and 6 at the shutdown. The Bruins were 44, 14, and 12. They were the second best team in hockey. The Blues on the West were the best at 42, 19, and 10. They had a 662 save percentage. That save or win percentage, that was better than the Lightning. So the Lightning had the third best save percentage or winning percentage. Winning percentage.
Yeah, so second in the division,
So that's
third
pretty,
in the
still
league.
pretty good. So that'd be the closest I would say probably to a team that maybe came to a degree sleepwalking through the regular season and got it done. But it was also a COVID year where there was a shutdown and came into a bubble and all that. But you're right. In hockey, like that team generally doesn't go as well. So who does that hurt this year? Who's sleepwalking?
The Oilers.
Are they? But the
Jets,
but that sleepwalking team generally wins,
Washington.
don't they? Like throughout the regular season.
Washington hasn't really faced anything this year. You had guys like POTUS.
Is it
with
real or is
60
it
points and-
mirage? Like I've watched some of their games and like they're playing at a high level, like great structure, passing it like the Harlem Globetrotters.
So did Boston a few years ago.
Not this level. Like
No,
not
you
this
don't think
way.
so? Yeah.
I think Washington is doing some crazy things right now, but I don't know if it's going to translate to the playoffs. I just don't.
What do you guys make of then the playoffs? Like okay, let's use the West. Oh, actually, the East would work on this as well. There's the one side which would be right now, hypothetically, it's Stars, Avs round 1, Jets versus winner round 2. They go to the conference finals.
Mm-hmm.
The other side, you got Vegas probably meeting the winner of Oilers Kings as of right now.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying the Kings and the Oilers and the Golden Knights are easy by any sense, but it's an easier path. Like it seems a little easier.
The East has an easier path?
No, the Pacific side is a little bit easier than the Central side of the West.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you want to come through the more battle tested side, or do you want to come through the softer side as you get to a conference final? Do you want to be a Winnipeg Jets team that, okay, you got an easy first game, but you had to then go through the Avs or the Stars, or I'll just use Avs or Stars. You had to take on each other, then you had to take down the Jets to get a conference final, or would you rather be on?
I think the if is, did you come out of it healthy?
Yeah,
You can go battle 7 games all the way to overtime, show that you can win in those situations and you don't have any injuries. I think that's good for your team.
because maybe East is a better conversation. For
You come,
this.
if it's Dallas Winnipeg, who did we say in the first round? Colorado
Dallas.
and Dallas in the first round. They go 7, beat the living crap out of each other, and 4 or 5 players are injured. Well,
Okay,
that's
flip
another
side,
story.
like right now, if you're Washington, you get to a conference final, you likely have to go through, as of right now, the Rangers, and then you're taking either Carolina or the Devils. Florida would have to go through Ottawa, and then the winner of Tampa, Toronto, let's say. So let's say that those are the 2 teams.
So
that
Tampa,
would you rather be the Florida, who had the softer, if you will, road, or no, the more difficult road, I would say, or would you rather be Washington, who had the little bit of an easier road?
The problem with the easier
But it
road
might
is
be the
that once you get to the difficult matchup, then the jump is much bigger.
And that's where I like.
bingo.
But and that's where I think the health though comes in is to
Exactly.
get there though you're going to be more banged up.
That's right. That's my big if. I think it's better to be battle tested. It's better to have your game raised to the level it needs to be raised to, as long as you're not having casualties along the way.
Yeah,
It's
I'd
gonna-
agree.
Couple of interesting races that will be coming up in the playoffs, like Winnipeg, Dallas, Colorado, Vegas, Edmonton, LA, Minnesota. I feel comfortable saying they're in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's just that last wild card spot in the West.
Vancouver, St. Louis, Calgary, Utah. That's the battle. It's a battle of 4 for 1 spot, basically. Now, how the positioning all plays out, that's still up for grabs. But in terms of playoffs, I think I feel good saying those. Out east, Florida, Tampa, Toronto, Washington, Carolina, New Jersey. Feel comfortable saying they're in the playoffs. Ottawa, I almost feel comfortable saying is in the playoffs.
I feel comfortable saying Ottawa's in the playoffs.
They're up 6 points on a playoff spot. And then, but if we put Ottawa in, then it's Rangers, Montreal, Detroit, Columbus, Boston Islanders are all within 4 points of each other. The Pens are 6 back. The Flyers are 8 back. That's the number of teams seems insurmountable. Points wise, it doesn't seem insurmountable, but the race for that final spot out east is going to be.
Does anybody else want to see Matthew versus Brady in a conference final?
That would be pretty fun.
Be pretty entertaining.
That'd be a lot more Kachuk than I want to take in.
Speaking of
You said Austin Matthews in the conference finals?
Sorry, Matthew versus Brady. Like Matthew Kachuk versus Brady Kachuk.
I'm thinking Austin Matthews versus Brady, and because Leafs. Okay, thank you. No, because screw the Panthers.
Oh wow!
I talked about it yesterday on the show. Fan? No, I talked about it yesterday on the show. I don't like what happened with the Ekblad suspension.
Yeah. Let me just say though, they used their LTIR money to make all the acquisitions they made from. It was Kachuk from the Four Nations. The Ekblad situation didn't impact their cap space at all. Like if you look on Puckpedia right now, they've got $8.5 million of cap space. $7.5 million of that is Ekblad, but they used their LTIR money to go get Seth Jones. You trade out Spencer Knight. They add $2.5 million there. Then they needed to go get a goalie, so they get Vitek Vanacek 3.14 or whatever he is. And then the Brad Marchand deal, 50% retained, $3 million. So that's pretty much, it's pretty close. I think I added it up. It was like 8.9 or something like that $1 million. Kachuk's at 9.15.
I think what Matthew's referring to when he says the Ekblad thing is the fact that he was suspended, period, or that there was
no.
All right.
The issue is part of it, and I didn't know the full so they get that capper, but they have the ability to go make a trade for Seth Jones and give up certain assets without having the story out there that Ekblad is suspended. That would change the value of what maybe you would go trade for Seth Jones. Chicago could maybe sit there and be like, hey, you really need a defenseman. You're fighting for a division. Yeah, this is what we want. But hey, you're kind of desperate right now. We want another first or something like that.
Gotcha.
Right? And for them to be able to trade for Seth Jones, and then I don't know the storyline, like a timeline. I don't know if it was the next day or 2 days later where Ekblad was announced. That doesn't pass a smell test for me of the NHL not saying this guy's going to get suspended and then giving them the ability to do that. Suspend Aaron Ekblad or don't. But if you're going to do it, don't let the Panthers go make a move. And to me, it smells like the NHL allowed them to go make a move and then announced it.
So I won't argue about knowing, or they may have known that Ekblad was going to get the suspension, but that may have impacted how they were going to spend Kachuk's LTIR money. I think once Kachuk got hurt, then they were like, okay, we can go do something about this now. So what are we going to do? Then the Ekblad situation becomes knowledge for them.
But if Ekblad doesn't get suspended, do they go trade for Seth Jones also?
No.
I don't know. I don't know now.
Well, now we got to go and look at their right side depth, in which they'd have Ekblad, Jones. I think I'd have to look closer, but Nico Mikkola playing on his offside.
So then that's where, if Ekblad doesn't get suspended, do they trade for Seth Jones? And I don't know. And now I don't know because they eventually suspended Aaron Ekblad after that trade deadline. They went for Seth Jones. And that's where there's this cloud to me that just doesn't pass the smell test. And that's why I'm just now against the Panthers.
I mean, I've been against them since they beat us in the Cup Finals last year. So yeah, I support you in being against them.
That's why I don't get to the conference finals. I like the Lightning. I like John Cooper. I've always liked John Cooper.
Yeah,
so screw Toronto.
Of course.
Yeah.
Get me Tampa there.
All capital letters.
If not,
screw Toronto.
how great would Ottawa be somehow on this run to the conference final?
Yeah.
For that side.
That would be fun.
I thought you meant screw Florida because of the, Ekblad gets suspended for performance enhancing drugs or what have you. And rumors were that there was some performance enhancing Panthers in the finals. And
I don't go back to that.
Was going to, all of a sudden be against cheating. If we want to come full circle.
I don't know what cheater you're talking about. There wasn't. Trophy. don't want to spill. It's ours.
Calvin said he feels bad that Ryan's had to hold on to this thing the whole. I think Calvin, it's an honor that Ryan has had to hold on.
Oh yeah, no, I ain't upset. This isn't a burden.
Yeah, no, but that's where I had my issue with the Panthers.
Okay,
So
fair enough. Fair enough.
Screw them.
Screw Florida.
Brad
Screw
Marchand
Toronto.
in the nasty chat. I'd read it, Odekblad. I believe in fair play. I love one. And we also got Matthew Chuck in the nasty chat. You guys want as much as the dash jump about us rent free. I'm just a team player. Yeah, that was one thing the Panthers got lucky with in a weird way is the injury of Tkachuk at Four Nations.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And Dash wanted all the players to be held out of the Four Nations. Didn't want any Oilers playing. Look how lucky Florida got with that. They're gonna win a division and they got the load up.
So true. So true.
We got Dash in the Park, Ryan Lotsberg from Heavy Hockey and the Oilers Live Wednesdays 9 right here in Edmonton Sports Talk on our audio channel. Matt Iwanyk with you here on the EST Hangout, presented by Sentinel Storage, Canada Storage experts, more than 2 decades helping Canadians through life's transitions. Check them out, sentinel.ca. Didn't pour it in today, but we did it yesterday. The official drink of the EST Hangout. It is the Finnish long drink, legend of 1952, a drink unlike any other. Sparkling refreshment, real liquor, longdrink.com/Canada. To enter the postal code to find a liquor store establishment nearest you with the long drink. It is also available at Rogers Place during Oiler games. So if you're off to the game tonight, be sure to go jump. And if you haven't tried it, give it a try. You will absolutely love it.
Canadian storage provider, unless you have to store Mr. Iwanyk's ego.
They have storage units for that. They have all sorts of units. They'll have the sizes. Mike Crosby, who's the assistant coach in your team, quickly does say, I came in late to the show today. I re-listened to everything and I got to set the record straight. And he hasn't said anything. So we wait on that. Oilers, so we sidetracked completely there away from into the playoffs and all that. Do they win tonight?
I don't know which way to go on this.
I know. I'm with you.
I'm gonna go no.
You're gonna go no. They come back and
they
isn't there history that after long road trips they lay an egg at home in the first game?
That feels right. And I'm not fully convinced they're totally back yet. So there's gonna be some consternation coming into the game against Winnipeg on Thursday. I
don't even know what consternation means, but I agree.
Concern.
I can probably echo Lotsy here. I think I'm not convinced they're back on it. Little hiccup in the 2-game streak wouldn't surprise me. Let's be honest, the Oilers have a tendency to play down to other people's levels when they're playing a poor team and play up for other teams when they're playing a better team. So, I think it was touched on the morning show and maybe some other couple shows in the last couple days, but I do feel this road trip will be very interesting. I think this homestand will be very interesting. 2-2 could read very differently based on which 2-2 you get, right? Like if they beat Utah and Seattle in this, but they lose to Dallas and Winnipeg, I'd say there's still a lot of concern there. If they lose to the 2 poorer teams, but then beat the 2 bigger teams, well, then maybe they are back on the right track. If it's a split, I still think we're 50-50. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's probably going to be a 2-2 homestand where we lose to Utah, but then beat either Dallas or Winnipeg, beat Seattle, but then lose to Dallas or Winnipeg kind of type thing.
Big Uke, this wasn't a long road trip. They barely had any travel. Stayed in the same hotel the whole time. Fair point. But yeah, I guess if they're gone, it's how long they've been gone.
You come home, your wife's got a honey-do list, your kid misses you, it's
even if and then being in the same bed, you are away from home and without everything at your fingertip that you need type thing.
Yeah. What did Arvidsson say after the game or during the game yesterday? I think he's been on the road he's been home for 5 days out of the last 6 weeks.
As for Utah, I was just looking at their most recent schedule. I'm going most recent to latest, or most recent to, you know what I mean. Yeah. They beat the Canucks on Sunday, but they lost to the Kraken, beat the Ducks, lost to the Leafs, lost to the Blackhawks, beat the Red Wings, lost to the Devils. That's their March so far this year. As a team that's right in the playoff, I think of playoff things. not getting on a run either way. Of late, they're 6-2-2 in their last 10 overall, but that was their recent run. They're more recently. It's kind of hit and miss and stuff. So we'll see if they're going to be a scrappy team tonight for this Oilers team. There's no question about that. Because as we said, how many points back they sit? They sit 2 points back of a playoff spot, equal amount of games with the Vancouver Canucks. I didn't look at the schedule for the NHL today. Did the Canucks play tonight? The Canucks play the Jets tonight. The Jets are in Vancouver. So, hey, the Jets should beat the Canucks. Yeah, for Utah, if you, that's how you're going to thinking that later the Canucks are going to lose. You go win. You'd be tied with them on points. Who else is in the wild card hunt? Because the Utah would have to jump also Calgary and St. Louis.
I think Calgary plays tonight.
Calgary's in New York to take on the Rangers. St. Louis is in Nashville to take on the Preds.
Yeah, that wild card race could just tighten up a little bit.
Huge
those matchups.
Yep.
And I think we got lines from the Oilers.
Ooh.
I saw Aidan O'Neill jumped in with a top line, so I'm just going to see if I can quickly go find.
It's been interesting lately.
Yeah.
Oh, you woke Brendan up.
Well, Tom, on the beat a minute ago, I spy with my little eye an ad for the best Donair spot in the city. And there's a Swiss Donair ad on the boards at Rogers Place.
Well, this is the investigative journalism we need.
That's what we need. Matthias Ekholm, John Klingberg, according to Gazzola, on the ice taking part in the morning skate. Calvin Pickard in the starters net. Here's the morning lines. Here we go. McDavid in between Jeff Skinner and Zach Hyman.
Hey.
Wow.
Draisaitl centering Perry and Brown. This is according to Bob Stauffer. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins in between Podkolzin and Arvidsson. Henrique in between Janmark and Kapanen. Jones and Ryan as 13th, 14th forward skating. Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, Wallman, Kulak, Amberson, and then Stetcher, Klingberg as a fourth pairing defense. Pickard, as I said, getting the start with Skinner as the backup. So McDavid in between Skinner, Hyman, Draisaitl, Perry, and Brown.
Nurse Wallman. Is that the first time we've seen Nurse
Nuge,
Wallman?
Podkolzin, Arvidsson, Henrique between Janmark and Kapanen, Jones, Ryan extra, Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, Wallman, Kulak, Amberson, Stetcher, Klingberg, and Pickard in net. So there you go.
Sorry, the D pairings, it was
Ekholm, Bouchard.
Ekholm, Bouch.
Nurse Wallman.
Yep.
Stetcher.
Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, Wallman, Kulak, Amberson are listed as the first three.
Yeah.
Stetcher, Klingberg as a fourth pair, which I would assume would then sit out.
I think that's kind of what we're going to see throughout the playoffs. Like, I think that's going to be the default defensive structure.
Think so?
I think so. Like, they tried Bouchard and Wallman together, and they kept going away from it in game. Like, I don't think that's working as well as they want it to. Nurse Wallman's been fine.
Nurse Wallman. Yeah, I was trying to remember if the Dallas game.
Yeah, Wallman had an unbelievable debut in the Dallas game.
Right.
But yes, we're starting to see reality a little bit more. I'm not saying he's been bad or anything. It's just Dallas wasn't a good indicator.
Wallman needs to get in there and do a gritty celebration.
I'm
get it over with and
to see a Wallman gritty at Rogers Place.
Win this fan base over if you do something like that.
Totally, right?
Does
Draisaitl in San Jose? I think he only did them in Detroit. But.
Does Draisaitl get 50 tonight?
I'm going to say yes every game until he does.
Yeah, tonight would be the night.
It's 11 goal lead for the Rocket Richard.
That's insane, hey?
11 goal lead for the Rocket Richard, leading the NHL in goals scored, leading the NHL in game-winning goals, leading the NHL in 5-on-5 goals, leading the NHL in power play goals.
And the guy can't hit an empty net to save his life.
2 points back of the top points in the National Hockey League.
How many empty net points does McKinnon have? Several.
Mm-hmm. McDavid is fourth.
Yeah, McDavid's fourth quietly.
Yeah, 86 points. Unbelievable season. Just not his standard type thing.
Yeah, we're
fourth
sitting
in scoring,
fourth.
third in assists.
What a better Connor.
What a bum. Yeah, no, I just seeing the Draisaitl 11 goals. That's a big one. It's hard to say no. And he's going to be on a run for whatever he wants to get this year type thing. So he's going to want to.
He's playing his way into a slam dunk for the Hart Trophy.
It just seems like easy money to just guess that he's going to score.
Yeah. He should be the leader for the Hart Trophy. I'm not so certain with McKinnon in that mix too. My vote would be Leon. I don't know if the Eastern media is going to see it that way.
McKinnon has like 80 assists or something like that. You know what I mean? Like it's great. It's good. Don't get me wrong, but
Like if Austin
he's not
Matthews,
doing what Draisaitl's doing.
If Austin Matthews is going to win a Hart when he got over 60 goals, like he won the goal scoring race and did what he did. If Leon can win by 11 or 12 or 13, however many goals he's going to win by and not get the Hart Trophy, I think that's ridiculous.
McKinnon's got 76 assists. That's pretty impressive.
Sure.
Like, I don't want to diminish. Like, there is something to setting up the goal.
Absolutely. It's just like the year Matthews won the Hart versus Connor McDavid when he had more points and assists, right?
Why did he hit the 100 assists? Was that year?
Yep.
Or was that last year?
No, that was the year after, I think, that Connor got the 100 assists.
100 assists. There's just
I think Connor did 60 goals one year and then 100 assists last year.
If the race is Leon versus McKinnon, actually, you want to know something? I agree with Huss on this. If Hellebuck's not in this too, then goalies should never win.
Hellebuck in it. Yeah.
he's
Right?
Yeah,
Like
he's gotta be
if
the
this
third
is a year
nominee.
that he's not in this,
That's
and
right.
there's a point. It's like goalies are never going to win this, so let's just take him out of this entirely.
Yeah, I don't disagree with
So
that.
I'm going to take him, but actually I'm going to keep Hellebuck in this between Hellebuck, McKinnon, and Draisaitl. It's going to be fascinating to watch the race for the Hart as the voters are, the writers vote on it, because that's 3 West teams.
Yeah. Really
Right.
good
And we
point.
always
Yeah.
say that the East has that
Right.
Eastern bias. And,
Right.
I think the year Hall won MVP, I think it was between him and McKinnon. I think might have been the battle that year. And one thing is Hall obviously plays out East, and it helps. Like, and we always have that bias of like, hey, well, obviously you're not watching all the hockey games, but also like it's easier to watch the East games and harder to watch the West. You got these 3 West teams. How's the votes going to balance
really
out?
good point. Yeah, that is fascinating, actually.
Especially Oilers and Avs, same time zone.
Right.
The games are the exact same time, so there's no argument against that. I still do stand by Ted Lindsay Award as the one I care
Yeah,
about.
I totally agree too. I mean, if you want my vote for the Hart Trophy right now, Brendan, who are Draisaitl's wingers today? Brown and
Perry.
Yeah, there's your Hart Trophy winner.
Yeah, he
doesn't have the line mates McKinnon has this year. I'm sorry.
got some strong shoulders carrying his wingers all season.
Absolutely. All we've talked about all season. Man, if we could find Dry some wingers, and he's still going to win the Hart Trophy.
To Mike in the nasty chat, he said quickly, couldn't fit it all on the chat. Check the text line, LOL. I don't have anything on the text line. There's nothing that's come in on the text line. So I don't know what to do for you, Mike. You're doing as well getting that text in as you did as an assistant coach on Saturday.
Oh.
He's doing as good getting that text in as I did trying to argue our point earlier, I guess.
There's only so much you can do. So
Tom Gazzola is a hero.
says very few people.
Team
Paul
Heavy
and-
Hockey thinks so.
And that
The ones who know.
If you know, you know. Yeah. Good on you,
so the
Tom
losers
Gazzola.
see that, but the winners don't. I wonder what side I want to be part of.
I digress.
We're gonna more people will drink out of this over the course of the next year. We need to pace ourselves. Big parties coming on. Yeah, so we got the Oilers game later tonight. As I mentioned, 6:00 Oilers stream pregame show with Tommy and Hernan. They'll get you set for Oilers and Utah Hockey Club, which I haven't watched like in person. I'm going to the game tonight. I don't think I've seen Utah in person.
I think this is the first time they've been here, no?
Is it?
I think so.
That's what I was trying to.
Is it?
I think so.
Were you here
Maybe
for
I'm-
No, they would have
preseason?
been
There's a
here
cha-
last year.
There's a chance. of
Last
it.
year.
Utah? No.
This is their first season in the NHL.
Ugh.
I'm
Like,
pretty
do you mean
confident.
24 or do you mean like last season?
Yeah.
No, I meant in like 24, not last season, last year. I thought it was a preseason.
Oilers 2024.
Maybe it was preseason.
Were they here in preseason even? This season's already feels so long. Just get me to the playoffs.
I thought Utah.
That's all that
was here.
matters.
Wake me when
That's-
it's June.
That's exactly. Wake me up when September ends. Wake me up when April ends,
There you go.
so that we can get to this. Schedule and results. Is this the right thing I want?
While
to
you're
click here?
looking, Brendan, what's your prediction?
5-3 with an empty net. Oilers.
Oilers tonight?
Utah was here on New Year's Eve.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. I'm wrong.
So last year,
Yeah, I guess
Barely.
technically.
Yeah, they were here New Year's Eve. That's why we all forgot about it, because who cares about New Year's? Like, people were busy on New Year's Eve.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
true.
We had other things going on.
It was New Year's. Oh, here we go. I got the text. I went to the EST locker room to make a deal with Maddie. He wasn't having it, which was fair. I yelled out to Tommy. He'd look great in white. At first, he said, can't do it, man. So I guilted him by saying I spent $1,100 in donations on Friday. He said, come on, man, help us out. Tommy being the absolute beaut that he is, agreed because it was the right thing to do. We shouldn't be ripping on him. We should build him a statue for stepping up, making the event awesome for those of us on the outside. You guys won fair and square. Congratulations, but we'll get you next year, LOL. Oh, he's already committing to being with you guys. Absolutely terrific event. Raised a ton of money. Lots of fun stuff to talk about. Thank you to everyone who joined and played. The last few stuff, absolutely. He went to the locker room also and said, who wants to join it? Everyone said no. And then he looked at Tommy and said that.
The one player you have with a conscience.
Tommy could have still said no. Tommy could have still said, like,
but Tommy also
I
has to
appreciate
sleep at
that.
night.
You've done a good thing for Sace, but I've made a commitment to this group in this locker room, and I can't break that bond. And he chose not to.
Tommy also could have said, I'd really like to be able to sleep at night and have a conscience that's clear. And I don't know if I can put my head on my pillow and feel good about the fact that all these guys around me are
I know Bryce the Sparky's
cheating.
listening. I'm here. I don't know if anyone else that played is listening, but Bryce, have you been able to sleep the last few nights? Because I've been able to sleep just fine the last few nights. I've had some wonderful sleeps. I'm assuming Bryce the Sparky, he's been able to sleep.
Bryce is sleeping. He's
I
lacking
think
a conscience
Dusty's been
as
able
well.
to sleep.
Dusty never sleeps. Let's be honest.
Well, that's true. I think everyone on the team has been able to has had mighty fine sleep. I've actually had some of the best sleeps the last few nights I've ever had. It's been wonderful. So I can sleep your character, fine.
Mr.
So didn't need to leave teams to be able to sleep. Just knowing that we're championship.
Yeah, throw your team out with the bathwater, embarrass your employees yesterday and on live TV and radio, and now
I did any of that. Oh, he broke a key. I just had to ask him about it. I was just
on air.
You couldn't have done that when you just came in. You had to wait until you were on the air.
No, I asked him before we came on the air. I asked him about it.
Oh, so you did it. So you embarrassed him twice. That's better.
Welcome to the world of radio. You can't let those things slide.
When you're sick of being abused, I'm telling you, heavy hockey's door's wide open. We'll pay you just as much as Matty pays you now.
That's fine. He won't be able to drink out of his cup if he does that.
Yeah, he probably likes sleeping at night as well.
I sleep very well at night.
Yeah, that says a lot about you, not Brendan.
Yeah. When you're a winner, you sleep. That's what we do. That's what we do at Edmonton Sports Talk. It was our first time taking the Heavy Hockey Showdown. We didn't know what to expect. Didn't go as well as we expected year one. We've improved. Now this train is rolling. We're like the Oilers. We've turned it on. There's no stopping us.
We keep receipts there, Matty. We'll see what happens next year.
Oh, keep all the receipts you want. I'm fine with that. There's no refunds on this. I'll cash it in, no problem.
We've got big post-it notes on the message board at Heavy Hockey HQ. We've got a whole bunch of quotes to look at for motivation for next year.
Are those post-it notes going to stick, or are the tears from Dash going to make them fall onto the ground? The tears just keep flowing today.
Time will tell.
Do I even bring this next year, or do I just leave it in our case for the second year?
Maybe I put the skates on again next year and shut you up personally.
Yeah, if sure, go for it.
Then you need Matty to put the skates on.
Now you're finally thinking, I know where my strengths are, and on the ice is not where my strengths are.
When I wear skates, I'm undefeated in the tournament. I'm just saying. So
some would argue that you aren't undefeated when Savage beat you down last year, but
Savage pretty much retired me. Yeah.
So
beat the wheels right off of me. I didn't even land a punch. It was embarrassing.
Oh, yeah, that's so. Maybe at least you're starting to think about next year, and you've taken your eyes off of crying from Saturday, and now you're focusing a little bit more on next year. That's my one tip I will give you guys, is that stop focusing on the past and start looking to the future. And that's how you win these trophies. That's how you
advice from a coach that knows nothing but winning. Thank you so much. I'm humbled from your advice.
Well, Coach Pizza Boy is undefeated in this, and I follow. He was a great guidance and mentor to me to grow as a coach.
I feel bad for Coach Pete. Ultimately, I think he's been given the shaft 2 years in a row. He had to coach with you the first year, which is awful. Just awful.
It was great with Coach Pete.
As he's thrown under the bus, and then this year,
he wasn't thrown under the bus. It was
this year he's got to deal with your cheating.
I look forward to Coach Pete understanding and joining the Coach
Put his
Pizza
heart
Boy,
and soul
possibly
into
myself next year. Coach Pizza Boy, Coach Pete, myself on the bench of EST next year. There's no stopping us at that point. None whatsoever.
All right. Well, Crosby, you better get a few more tricks up your sleeve.
Yeah, find more ways to try to cheat. Buying penalties and all of that stuff.
You're going to complain about money going to charity for our penalties. Now you're the one complaining, and it's about charitable donations.
The world wanted to see you guys penalized for all your cheating.
Yeah. The world wanted you penalized.
I don't think so, because the people at the stands were cheering us on.
The donations say otherwise.
Tommy, and we're booing Tommy. Well, wait till next year.
The purchased penalties say otherwise.
Yeah, here we go. Bryce the Spark, you've been sleeping like a baby. It feels good at the top. Yes, it does, Bryce. And again, anytime you're in the neighborhood, you come by, you get a sip from the championship. Boys, great having you in. Great seeing you guys. Oilers live tomorrow, 9 o'clock on the Heavy Hockey Network on your guys' YouTube channel. All right, any articles that you're expecting anytime soon or have posted?
Yeah, we just posted a good one.
Yeah, there was one I did a couple years ago about the nuclear option that might get a little bit of a repurposing in the next little bit here. So that's something I'm going to be working on in the next week or so here, I'll say. But we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, Ryan had another piece in there just recently posted about the culture of hockey, and I think that's probably worth the read as well.
Yep.
Excited to be on Oilers Live tomorrow with Ryan and probably Patrick and Michael. I'd assume we'll put the team back together to do another show. And outside of that, I guess just thanks for having us on. And
of course,
pleasure to be here, Brendan.
Thanks for coming in. Thanks to everyone for tuning into the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage. Lock Shop up next. We've got two guys and no goalie. We've got EST Afternoons. We've got the Reed Wilkins Show. We've got the Oilstream pregame and postgame shows later tonight as well. On behalf of Dash, Ryan, Brendan, I am Matt. Thanks for tuning in. Do the EST Hangout here on your clear choice for Edmonton Sports, Edmonton Sports Talk. Lock Shop coming up in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Let's go. There you go, right in front of the camera.
First time guest, long time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Zola with here, joining us today.